G'day guys and welcome to another show from the Llama Bull. I'm your host and mate Llama Bull, of course, and today I have a very special video for you guys. It's actually my thoughts and small review on Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth. We've been waiting for a game like this for a long time. But first, before I do that, let's just put this in here, like that. There you go. That's where you belong. Alright guys, so let's get into it. Behind me I actually hunt down one of the main war chiefs, of course, and this is sort of some of my footage that you're going to see of me hunting down one of the main war chiefs that are in the game. If you haven't played this game yet, and if you really want to get the most out of this experience, I would actually be waiting until the third Hobbit movie comes out on Boxing Day, so the third part. So as soon as you watch that movie, you can go straight from this story in between here and The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, which is set in the 60 years between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. And I've got some footage behind me actually hunting down the war chief, as I said. So you've pretty much got two stories in this. You've got Talion, who has been executed by the Dark Lord and his minions, the Hammer and all them dark, creepy looking fellas, and he gets executed. And then you also have a wraith who is also after vengeance. So you sort of have a story of Talion, and then you have story of the wraith that is also attached to him. As you can see behind me, there is an army of orcs which have captains, war chiefs, and a lot of guys in there have got different techniques and abilities, so sometimes you won't be able to take down a certain orc without having the right kill streak or the right way to kill him. So it's very intense in the way. Sometimes I went for a ranged headshot and it was just vulnerable to ranged because I just simply hadn't studied the different characters, which I think is a really interesting part of the game in knowing different parts of the enemy as well. And there's a lot of things to do within the world. So you've got hunting, you've got gathering, so you can gather different plants and stuff. Also, there's a whole lot of slaves who are actually building Mordor at the moment. So what you can actually do is help free those slaves. If you can see them digging somewhere or moving things around, go in there and help them out, because if you help out enough slaves, as soon as you start liberating enough slaves, they will actually help you fight the orcs and stuff, which is really cool. You can see 3 or 4 just pummeling down on a couple of orcs, and it's just so cool, like that little aspect. So you've got the Vendetta system, you can free slaves, there's hunting, there's gathering, different orcs that you can go and take out, different captains, and this is always evolving type of world. It's a living and breathing world. I found it so hard just to do the main story missions. I was so everywhere. I was doing, as soon as I would go back, I would press the big square button on the PlayStation controller and find out what plants that I haven't got yet, and you can definitely rank up. It's a massive world of Mordor. Like the demo that I played at EB was only a fraction of what the true game actually is, because even though you've also got areas, so these areas, so you'll have this area I'm in now is one huge area, and then all of a sudden you go to another massive area which are a whole extra plants and different areas and different war chiefs to fight. So just because you've taken out the first 4 war chiefs and all the captains, they keep coming in and stuff. Also, I found it really gritty and getting in there, because sometimes I would be killed by a captain or something, and he would continually taunt me, and I would die from his blade several times, and it would just give me that emotional charge to go, all right, man, like, make it such an epic battle, because he would level up as well. So it wasn't just me leveling up, it was him as well. And not only he would level up, but the orcs around him who were helping fight me would level up and be promoted as well. So I found this so... having those epic battles, it makes all these captains like an epic fight, because you've had a history with one of these captains or war chiefs who has killed you before. So that is really cool in itself. As you can see from what I'm trying to explain, there is a lot going on in the world. Also, these creatures called caragors. They look a bit like wargs, but I think they're warg riders, but I think they're a bit smaller than the wargs. They look like a giant dog slash lizard, which you can also mount and control, and you can pretty much bite down on orcs to regenerate these dogs' health. But they are a lot bigger. Stealth kills. Also, I unlocked a thing called the brutalize. So pretty much when you're trying to take down an orc, it actually brutalizes one of the orcs and scares away all the other orcs. So if you're definitely into that. And then there's also a stealthy kill as well. So a lot of different things you can do in the game, which I think is really cool. The sword play, like some of the mini games, of course, when you're on last stand, and of course, if an orc doesn't humiliate you and just walk away from you, because you go, oh yes, no, not like this, not like this. I'm like, come here, damn it, you know, like getting, you know, don't walk away from me, come here and fight me, you know. So you get really charged and emotional about some of the aspects of the game, but the sword play, the bow, the dagger, all have their different. You can attach these 5 runes to each of your weapons to do different things. So maybe, you know, to earn more health, you'll attach a rune that says plus 50 health and blah, blah, blah. Of course, on top of that, not just the game is just really in-depth. But for the reasons why I didn't feel like I was in Mordor, there wasn't a lot of the original music from the Lord of the Rings, which I was really hoping would just drive home. And I didn't feel like there is enough characters from the movies and stuff. Surely there's Gollum and the Wraith, and it does bring aspects of you know, Middle Earth into the game with so many things and artifacts you can find and different things to really fill in the history of Middle Earth. So I think that aspect was pretty cool. But something about it, I think it was the lack of original music from the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit kind of made me and ah a little bit about it. Took me sort of out of the motion, the emotion of it. Especially the die-hard Tolkien fans would agree with me. If you go back and watch Lord of the Rings and then you go to The Hobbit or however you want to watch it, then play the game, you can tell that it's very different. Like, as much as it's cool and it's orcs and that, I just feel like sometimes I didn't feel like I was in the same world, if you can understand what I mean by that. But moving right along from that, the fighting in itself is so responsive. Of course, there were some times where I was hacking into an orc, and then all of a sudden you'd see a big triangle or X, as you saw just there, appear, and I would just drop what I'm doing and it instantly block that orc. So that is really cool. I think if you didn't have that, it would be a game breaker. It would be more like Assassin's Creed, slower, sluggish, but of course there was a lot of rumors that this was very similar to Assassin's Creed. But after playing 5 hours of Black Flag and then going and playing 5 hours of this, there isn't much there. There isn't much similarity to the game. Maybe in Batman a little bit, but that's again totally different. Of course, the fighting style was a lot more responsive, which really I think makes this game shine. I'm telling you now, if this game didn't have this responsive fighting combat with the orcs and with all these other ghouls and creatures that you fight, you wouldn't have a complete game and a complete package. And I really feel like the game would have suffered without having that responsiveness, because it just would have been frustrating. But here you can just, and here's where I actually fight, invulnerable to range. There you go, I couldn't kill him. But really what you really take out of this game is that this nemesis system really makes you feel like you're a part of the game. Makes it feel like it's living and breathing. And these orcs have different things, whether they're trying to fight each other for control, or whether there's a feast on where you can go and just take out one of these captains who think they're all that. And the areas and the scope of the game is really massive and so much to do. So be aware, you're not exactly going to be, finishing the game as quickly as you think. I mean, I've already played like 30 hours or something ridiculous to find out enough about the game to talk to you guys and go, hey, this is actually viable. But as I said, I'll really be waiting to Christmas to buy this title. I think it's a standalone game. And as I said, you're going to get the whole package. And you can see the mini game there behind, actually, which is really cool. Like, you have a chance that if you're on your knees, you can just easily and quickly do a finishing move, of course. But anyway, guys, that's all that I really wanted to talk to you guys about. This game is epic and awesome, and it brings the world to life. And if I was going to give it a Llama score, I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's buyable. Definitely go out and purchase it. Maybe wait till the price goes down a bit. Of course, at EB, maybe JB, jostle around a bit, see if you can get a great deal. This is a fantastic experience, of course, for all the Tolkien fans, but I think it's got that little tiny aspect, maybe because they couldn't get the licensing or something from Wingnut and New Line Cinema and all that kind of stuff, which I could totally understand. But as you can see, they've finished one of the captains in epic style, and he has now been taken down, which of course was one of the last guys to really take out. But it's just like some of that. See, there's like no war chiefs left, so it's really. Last but not least, guys, I do have a bit of bad to talk about the game. Just with the online aspect, I don't feel why you had to cut chunks out of the game. Well, not chunks, but sort of small chunks. With the leaderboard as well. Why do I have to pay $4.99 or $5 to be on the leaderboards or whatever that other aspect is? Which I don't agree with. I'm not going to pay that $10 to get extra stuff for. I think that should just be included, and you should just be rewarding the player for. And of course, having that aspect and me having to pay another $10 on the $100 that you're already having to pay, I think that's a little bit rich for a game like this. I think you should have just left it, just given us a full game. Be different from the other developers. Throw that business plan away, because us as gamers, we don't like it. We do not like having chunks of the game pulled out, like Destiny have done, and us having to pay extra money for it. I know it's $10, but money's money. If that's what you want to do, why not add something different? Why not, if you wanted to, why not have other parts of the world? Why not have Rohan and Gondor and other stuff and cool stuff outside of Mordor that we could go and visit as a proper DLC? Instead of charging us a measly $10 for getting, if we want to get competitive, I want to go onto the leaderboards and stuff. I don't get it, and I don't understand it. I don't know why it needs to be like that. But anyway, guys, that's all I had to say. I'm giving the 8 out of 10, a solid buy. Thank you guys for watching the Llama Bull Show. Hope you guys have a great weekend and whatever you guys are doing. And of course, stay tuned for the next show from Llama Bull. See you guys.